What is going on, everybody? And welcome to the show. I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys right here, right now, today. And welcome to episode number 517 of the Beyond the Ring of the Big T Elite Wrestling Podcast here for today, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. This year AEW Dynamite review and the 4-year anniversary review and results show for today, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Adam Copeland wants to team up with Christian Cage. And this also your AEW Wrestle Dream 2023 Fallout show. So make sure you kick back, relax. We're about to hit the introductions and get this party started here. And then your AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary review and results show will be coming your way next. So don't go away because I will be right back.
This is M-Dog20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you are checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T. Thank you, man. Big T.
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring, AEW.
Alright, how's everybody doing there tonight? Hope you guys are ready for a good entertaining show, because I'm ready to give you guys one. So hello everybody, welcome to the show, and welcome to episode number 517 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Elite Wrestling Podcast here for today, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. This is your AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary review and results show for today, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Thank you for joining me right here tonight. I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys today. Don't forget the usuals. Check out my website, www.beyondtheringwithbigt.com. If you got any questions or comments about AEW Dynamite tonight, you can call into the show live on Skype using BigT_119. You can follow me on Twitter at BeyondTheRingBT, like me and follow me on Facebook at Beyond the Ring with Big T, follow me on Instagram at Beyond the Ring with Big T, and don't forget to use hashtag Justice for Pretty. Don't forget you guys can also donate to the show by using PayPal. There's a PayPal link at the top of the description of this video and every single video that I do. There's a PayPal link at the top of the YouTube live chat and Facebook live comments. It's pinned to the top. And there's also a PayPal button on my YouTube homepage. Any amount you guys want to donate, big or small, would be very much appreciated. And it really helps the show out, so thank you guys very much for that. And don't forget to use the hashtag Justice for Pretty and all that good stuff. So, there you go. Now let's get into AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary tonight. And let's start it off with Wrestling Inc.'s 3 things they hated and 3 things they loved about AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary show for Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Let's see. So, it says, it was AEW's first show following Wrestle Dream, the pay-per-view event where, among other things, Adam Copeland, the wrestler formerly known throughout his lengthy WWE career's Edge, made his AEW debut, confronting his old partner Christian Cage in the aftermath of the main event. Adam Copeland's first match with his new company comes next Tuesday, but the wrestling world was still waiting to hear what he had to say on Wednesday night, and fans were looking forward to announced matchups like Rey Fenix versus Nick Jackson and Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. So now we are going to talk about everything that went down tonight on Wednesday night. So let's see. The first thing that Wrestling Inc. loved about AEW Dynamite's 4-year anniversary show tonight was that they loved Wardlow returns and destroys Griff Garrison. John Jordan, Wrestling Inc. news writer, writes this. He says, I must admit I wasn't sure we'd ever see Wardlow on AEW television again. I have no idea what his contract status is like, but there's already a precedent in this company for making someone look unbeatable and pushing them to the moon, only to let them fade into oblivion. And then boom, Jade Cargill's off to WWE. Wardlow very well could have been and could still be on that track himself. He has been the unbeatable beast umpteen times over, only to win and lose a mid-card championship named after a network that can't get its audio right all of a sudden 3 times in less than a year, most recently to a guy in a dinosaur mask. But forget all that, because Wardlow's back, and he's getting a squash match showcase against Griff Garrison. He's back and he's hitting the Powerbomb Symphony 5 times on Griff Garrison before quickly and confidently waltzing his way out through the crowd and presumably off to go do Wardlow's shit. I see him instantly smashing a protein shake, catching a shower, hitting the closest steakhouse and crushing a tomahawk, before banging out a late-night workout at the hotel and catching some shut-eye, all in the name of waking up tomorrow for more badassery. I'll call this one a win for now, but for the love of whatever people love nowadays, if you've got this guy signed for a good while, Tony Khan, let him be his badass self and give him an uninterrupted run that ends up actually meaning something. You had gold here for a while and you let it turn into mush. You've seen and you're about to see how that story ends with Jade Cargill, and it'll happen again with Wardlow if you let it. take advantage of a star in the making situation while you have it. Who knows, maybe you'll hang on to this one. It says, side note, poor Griff Garrison. This guy needs something new. I was calling him a poor man's Jungle Boy back when Jungle Boy was a thing. Now he's getting blasted through the mat by Wardlow and watching his old tag team partner Flying Brian Pillman Jr. getting ready to do his thing over at WWE NXT. So yeah, let's start with a haircut and a new name, and maybe we'll all forget about old Griff. And the first thing that Wrestling Inc. hated about AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary show tonight, moves don't matter anymore. Matthew Wilkinson, Wrestling Inc. news writer, wrote this. A complaint that has been lobbied at AEW consistently is an overall lack of selling, with wrestlers taking crazy bumps and frequently kicking out of them. Whether it was the recent Canadian Destroyer debacle or the crazy levels of punishment Darby Allin took at AEW Wrestle Dream, tonight's AEW International Championship match was no different. However, the constant kicking out of major moves was even more frustrating here because the whole match was built around both men being injured. Rey Fenix was selling a back injury while Nick Jackson pushed a foot problem, and that should have led to them telling an interesting and unique story, something they are both capable of. While they did target those specific areas to push that idea, it all becomes pointless when they are both kicking out of huge moves throughout the entire match, from an avalanche cutter to a poisoned Rana, followed by a Canadian Destroyer. It all just felt completely detached from the story that we were telling. While AEW matches tend to feature a lot of big bumps, if the story of the match is that both men are injured, then that's something that should be peeled back. If several huge shots to Rey Fenix's back won't keep him down, then what's the point in telling the story? Sure, it helps make him look like a fighting champion as he grits his teeth and powers through the pain, but all it does is serve to hurt the moves in the long term, as they simply don't mean anything. The reason a cutter gets such good pop is that people like DDP and Randy Orton have used it to end matches. It provides a devastating impact that gets a reaction. However, the more moves like this in the Canadian Destroyer are treated like secondary spots to simply pop a crowd, the quicker it will become, or quicker it will be before the reactions decrease, and they become just the next DDT. The second thing that Wrestling Inc. loved about AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary show tonight, Powerhouse Will Hobbs gets to work with top guys. Ross Berman, Wrestling Inc. news writer, writes this. He says, Powerhouse Hobbs has been seen as one of AEW's fumbles, a seemingly can't miss presence, but with so much stop-start momentum that it feels like the company has never fulfilled his immense potential. And like Charlie Brown gearing up to kick a football, I am once again prepared to believe in Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs made a surprise appearance on AEW Dynamite, attacking Kenny Omega and aligning with the Don Callis family. To be completely honest, he says here, this segment was awful, awkward, slow, and ultimately a big miss. Let John tell you about the duct tape. But Hobbs being involved in Don Callis' quest to replace his old friends with impressionable young men has tremendous potential. The Don Callis family is one of AEW's most hated heel factions at the moment. I think it is the most hated heel faction right now, with Don Callis earning boos that would make Dominic Mysterio blush for some weeks. But his waifish group of Konosuke Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and occasionally Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, and Daniel Garcia mostly look like they could be knocked over by a stiff breeze. Enter the massive Powerhouse Hobbs, who adds a significant amount of muscle to the villainous group, and targeting Kenny Omega puts Hobbs in a feud with a wrestler that is a bona fide star, possibly elevating Hobbs' star power if properly handled. The segment as a whole was ugly and gray as concrete, but the possibility of Powerhouse Hobbs teaming with the Don Callis family burst through the cold, hard booking like a bright red rose, and this writer is ready to get hurt again. Second thing that Wrestling Inc. hated about AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary show tonight. Duct tape is not difficult. John Jordan, Wrestling News writer, writes this. He says, first, let's get a few things clear. Number one, I am not here, he says this, I am not here to hate on this entire segment. I actually think there is a lot afoot here, and it could turn into some really good stuff. Powerhouse Hobbs is a monster, and perhaps part of the Don Callis family can help elevate him quickly. A position for which I believe he is ready, and in which he can flourish. Chris Jericho, aligned in some fashion with Kenny Omega against their dastardly fellow Winnipegger and his minions, also makes a lot of sense and is so much better than Chris Jericho with yet another faction, and Kenny Omega wasting his time chasing trivial trios titles with his buddies, the Young Bucks. And a heel Sammy Guevara? Never mind, he wasn't clear to wrestle, so we got Kyle Fletcher with Konosuke Takeshita instead, so kudos to Kyle Fletcher for getting a little reward for his job well done as of late by getting placed into this match in Sammy Guevara's absence. Number two, I actually love duct tape. None of what I'm about to say is duct tape's fault. Duct tape has saved me in many situations for many years. Until you learn how to repair a certain something, duct tape, run out of other adhesives during Christmas decorating season, duct tape. Bike seat breaks mid-ride, duct tape. Golf shoe loses a sole in the middle of a round, yes, duct tape. Duct tape and I have helped each other through all of these tough spots over the years. It is an invaluable asset for all things adulting. And sure, I suppose it could be used to restrain an opponent in the wild world of professional wrestling. But here's the thing about duct tape. It is not hard to apply, almost ever, yet when Don Callis and company went to totally compromise Kenny Omega, taping his hands to the top rope, none of them could figure out how to wrap the roll of duct tape around successfully, with Kenny Omega accidentally breaking out of it with one hand at one point, then having to pretend that didn't happen. Then the Don Callis family leaving, not addressing the situation for a time, and then leaving the roll hanging off of his wrist before starting to try to tape him up all over again, and oh my god, this segment was already way too long. Did we not practice this earlier? So when a guy is as sweaty as he'd tend to be after just wrestling, this can be a little bit more difficult, but you can account for that. Again, it's duct tape. MacGyver could make a bomb with this stuff. And if it is not working, it is not working. Just come up with something on the fly. That's part of your job here. And trust me, for as long as that went on, nobody would have cared. Pair that with some production guffaws and during some various scrums prior to duct tape gate and unprotected headshots, really, again. And I'm reminded of why I often come away from these AEW shows all huffy and puffy. It's the little things. AEW does have a lot going for it, but the little things kill, and from exploding barbed wire death matches coming off like lighting a fart, to referees blatantly ignoring obvious rule infractions, to, yes, besmirching the good name of the almighty duct tape. With this company blowing it with the little things, it happens all too often. And the third thing here, because that was the second thing Wrestling Inc. hated, the third thing that Wrestling Inc. loved about AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary show tonight, it says, AEW needs more Tony Storm. Olivia Quinlan, Wrestling Inc. news writer, writes this. Tony Storm is the gift that just keeps on giving. We say some iteration of this pretty much every week at this point, but here's my take, because I feel it truly deserves to be said time and time again. Tonight was no exception to what has become the rule, as Tony Storm premiered a new nickname and defeated an old foe in Sky Blue after catching her with the Storm Zero in an enjoyable match. When looking at the landscape of current characters in the world of professional wrestling, they can sometimes start to all blend together, and it's hard to stand out from the bunch. Part of what makes this version of Tony Storm my favorite version to date, as a longtime fan, is that she manages to accomplish Just that through her commitment to the character, invoking the timeless feeling of the Golden Age to play her role to perfection. By the way, you can tell I had fun coming up with all these Hollywood-themed puns. Can you tell I had fun coming up with all these Hollywood-themed puns? And then the third thing that Wrestling Inc. hated about AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary show tonight was the Adam Copeland Christian Cage story. So far does not reek of awesomeness. Miles Schneiderman, Wrestling Inc. senior lead news editor, writes this. It says, in our Wrestle Dream review, I wrote about how happy I was that Edge, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, had arrived in AEW as Adam Copeland. Not just happy for him and the fact that he gets to spend the last leg of his career with his best friend, but happy for me as a fan who wants to love AEW but usually doesn't. Well, we've had Edge's first Dynamite appearance now, and it gives me no pleasure to say that we are 0-1. One thing I want to emphasize, the segment with Edge and Christian, gonna be really hard not calling them that, was incredibly well performed. Adam Copeland has legit acting chops, which most wrestlers don't, and Christian was doing some amazing stuff here with his facial expressions alone. As usual with AEW, my problem isn't with the performances, but with the writing. So at Wrestle Dream, Adam Copeland came out to oppose Christian Cage and prevent him from hitting Sting with a chair, a concerto, while Christian looked like he'd seen a ghost. A ghost, great, that's rad. You can go lots of places from there, but you have established one thing. Adam Copeland stands in opposition to Christian Cage. Christian tried to do an evil thing. Copeland stopped him right there. You've immediately set up the expectation that Copeland is here to stop Christian from doing bad things, which is maybe a little simplistic, but basically what you'd expect from this kind of storyline, and it works well, because Copeland is naturally going to be a massive babyface in AEW, whereas Christian has been a heartless monster for more than a year now. Except, they can't just do it that way. First, Copeland has to bring in his post Wrestle Dream press conference the line about how his daughter told him to come to AEW so he could have fun with Uncle Jay. This immediately muddies the waters, because why would anyone think they could just show up to AEW in 2023 and have fun with Christian Cage? Adam, buddy, did you watch the part of that press conference where they asked Christian about you, and he reiterated that he has no friends except Luchasaurus? Have you been paying attention to anything the man has been doing lately? Because I assumed you had been, which is why you ran in to stop him. But apparently you only did that because his victim was Sting, a man you suddenly idolize. I'm not saying Copeland doesn't idolize Sting, maybe he does, but it was beyond weird hearing the man whose Hulk Hogan fandom was so well known, and that they won the tag team titles together, talking about his lifelong reverence for Sting of all people. So then Copeland tells Christian he wants to be a tag team again, which is very on the nose for the audience, who also would like that to happen, but still an odd choice for the character. If Christian's attack on Sting was so heinous, why would you want to be a tag team with him? They hug it out, but then Christian tells Adam to go fuck yourself and leaves, which doesn't make him look more evil, so much as it makes Copeland look like what this writer says here, a moron, but I don't agree with that at all. For not seeing the most predictable thing coming. And best of all, nothing has been accomplished from a character standpoint. At the end of Wrestle Dream, Copeland and Christian were on opposite sides. At the end of Dynamite, Copeland and Christian were on opposite sides. Everything in between was just a route recommended by Google Maps, a pointless detour that leaves you back where you started, but more confused. And that was it. 3 things Wrestling Inc. Hated and 3 things Wrestling Inc. loved about AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary show for today, October 4th, 2023. And that's that. Alright guys, so now let's get into the review part of the show and rock and roll this thing. What do you guys say? I say let's do it. Let's get it in. Alright. So, AEW Dynamite review results for Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Adam Copeland talks. Nick Jackson faces Rey Fenix. So, this is AEW Dynamite's 4-year anniversary show for today, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Tonight's episode is the 4th anniversary of AEW's flagship show, Dynamite. We'll see the new era kickstart with Adam Copeland making his debut on the show. After his shocking appearance at AEW's Wrestle Dream, Adam Copeland is set to appear to deliver his mission statement. Now that he has joined AEW, Copeland opted to go against his longtime friend and former tag team partner Christian Cage by attacking Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus, with the fallout from this situation set to take place. Elsewhere, Nick Jackson will be getting the chance to showcase his singles abilities once again, as he will compete for the AEW International Championship against Rey Fenix. However, Rey Fenix is not walking into this match 100% after several injury issues in recent weeks. Meanwhile, the Young Bucks could also reveal when they want to challenge for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Coming off of Sunday's pay-per-view, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho are set to team up once again, hoping to pick up a better result this time around, and they will face Konosuke Takeshita and Sammy Guevara, who are fresh from defeating their opponents at the event. Last week we saw the rivalry between Switchblade Jay White and MJF. Jay White made it clear that he wanted a title shot, but at the end of the night he was attacked by a mystery group led by someone in MJF's devil mask. While MJF has denied that it was him, the rest of the Bullet Club Gold members will address the situation tonight. So, let's start off the show. We got an AEW International Championship match. We got the AEW International Champion Rey Fenix defending his AEW International Championship against Nick Jackson. So tonight's AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary show starts backstage as Renee Paquette interviews Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. He points out that in the first show 4 years ago, they faced each other in the main event, which is at Double or Nothing, but tonight they team up. However, they're interrupted by Adam Copeland, who says he is happy for the 4th anniversary, and he hopes to be here for the 8th and the 12th. As Adam Copeland says it's always good to see Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega tells Edge to let him know if he ever needs anything. So, Rey Fenix and Nick Jackson for the International Championship here. This match starts off. Both men go back and forth early on, and straight away, Rey Fenix showcases that his back isn't 100%, but that doesn't stop him from hitting an arm drag off the ring apron to the floor. Nick Jackson responds by attacking the back, but inside the ring, the champ, Rey Fenix, tries to run up the turnbuckles only to hurt his back again, allowing Nick Jackson to hit a backstabber as Fenix goes to the floor. So Jackson chases him and tries to kick him, but Fenix gets out of the way and Jackson kicks the ring post. Fenix instantly tries to make the most of that by working an ankle submission, but Jackson gets himself out of it and then kicks the back of Fenix before hitting a backbreaker. Jackson then connects with another kick to the back before hitting a running knee strike, but Fenix responds with a thrust kick of his own, only to eat another immediately from Jackson, as he then hits a round kick and both men go down and receive a standing ovation. Rey Fenix heads to the outside, which leads to Nick Jackson diving out, and while he lands on his feet, it hurts his injury, only for him to then catch Fenix with a cutter. Jackson leaps over the top rope to plant Fenix head first onto the mat, but it's not enough to get the win. Both men then bounce onto the top rope before Jackson hits an avalanche cutter, but that's not enough either. Jackson hits a Canadian Destroyer, but Fenix kicks out once more as he follows it up with a knee strike and then the BTE trigger, but that's still not enough. Fenix then places Jackson's leg on the middle rope and nails a kick, following it up with a frog splash, and this time Nick Jackson is the one kicking out Both men go back and forth with roll-ups, but it is Rey Fenix who gets the best of the situation here, getting the 1-2-3 and the pin of the win on Nick Jackson. And your winner and still the AEW International Champion is Rey Fenix in a great match with Nick Jackson. I thought this was fantastic, guys. I don't know what you guys thought, but I liked it. Great match to kick off the show. Wardlow returns. My buddy Wardlow returns. How about this? But first, Adam Cole is then shown at Roderick Strong's house, where Roderick Strong has got Adam Cole a scooter where he can put his leg up on it, so they will both be on wheels. A slow motion video is then shown of them riding around his house. Roderick Strong then says Adam Cole needs him to move some furniture, or Roderick Strong says that Adam Cole needs to move some furniture for him with the Kingdom, saying he owes him one, while Roderick Strong says it's just what best friends do. Adam Cole is then shown lifting furniture. Meanwhile, he's got a broken ankle or whatever. But next up, my buddy Wardlow. We got Griff Garrison going one-on-one with a returning Wardlow. Wardlow comes down to the ring. He immediately charges Griff Garrison into the corner and then begins stomping away on him. Wardlow immediately follows it up with 5 consecutive powerbombs, doing the powerbomb symphony until the referee stops the match. Because Wardlow didn't even go for the pin, it was referee stoppage. So Wardlow, your winner is Wardlow, and then Wardlow walks to the back through the crowd, looking as dominant as ever. Awesome to see my buddy Wardlow back. Couldn't be happier. Alright guys, what else do we got here? Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita are shown backstage, where Don Callis reveals that the Spanish God Sammy Guevara is medically unfit to perform tonight. However, there is no shortage of young male athletes who want to show their wear. On the recommendation of Will Ospreay, Don Callis has looked and picked Kyle Fletcher to team with Konosuke Takeshita tonight, as Don Callis points out that nobody remembers who wins the battles. They remember who wins the war, and Don Callis says he will win this war. Next up, we got an AEW World Trios Championship matchup here. We have the Acclaimed, Platinum Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and Daddy-Ass Billy Gunn defending their AEW World Trios Championships against the Butcher and the Blade and Kip Sabian. So Butcher, Blade, and Sabian, they jump the Acclaimed when they get into the ring, but the AEW Trios Champions, the Acclaimed, turn things around outside the ring and then scissor in the ring to celebrate. However, when the match officially gets underway, it is Butcher who attacks Max Caster, while Kip Sabian then bounces off the top rope to the outside to attack the Acclaimed. He then stomps away at Caster inside the ring, but he fights back with some more shots of his own, only to be sent into Sabian's corner. The Blade comes in with a kick to the back of Caster, and then the Butcher returns, slamming Caster into the barricade as he then stomps away on him inside the ring. Sabian then begins working the arm and hand of Caster, and he follows it up with a cannonball in the corner as the Butcher hits a backbreaker before knocking Billy Gunn off the apron. However, he distracts himself and then misses wildly with the splash as Anthony Bowens makes the hot tag and begins cleaning the house. Billy Gunn then sends the Butcher into the barricade while Bowens connects with the Scissor Me Timbers and then catches Sabian in midair with a super kick as he tries to get involved, as the Acclaimed then hit a double team, launching Sabian up into the air before slamming him back down to get the 1-2-3 and the pin in the win as they retain their AEW World Trios Championships. So your winners and still the AEW World Trios Champions, the Acclaimed and Daddy-Ass Platinum Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and Daddy-Ass Billy Gunn win the match, retain the AEW World Trios Championships. Next up, Toni Storm is then shown being interviewed by RJ City as she screams at him for talking about the time that she's been in the business. Toni then questions whether or not she has it, but then she realizes that she is timeless. It is then revealed that timeless Toni Storm will debut tonight, so that is Toni Storm's new character, Timeless. So, we'll see what happens with, everything Toni Storm. I mean, Toni Storm, this timeless character that she has is new. It's new, it's fresh. She has all the capabilities of taking this character to, just an awesome level here. And the whole thing is, I think the fans are going to get behind her character. I really think it's going to elevate her. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the more I see the development of Toni Storm's character, the more I'm beginning to understand, why they went with this whole character change, for her. I'm getting it. I see why they're doing it. And it just makes, complete sense. Because this is going to make Toni Storm a bigger star. At the end of the day, it just is. There's absolutely no denying that. There really isn't. So, we'll just see how this all plays out for Toni Storm. But right now, it's looking, rather promising. I do gotta say, it's looking rather promising for Toni Storm and her whole character development here. So, we'll see how that all goes. Alright, moving on. Bullet Club Gold addresses Switchblade Jay White's status. Bullet Club Gold minus Switchblade Jay White, so you had Rock Hard, Juice Robinson, Austin Gunn, and Colton Gunn. They head out to the ring and they mock Adam Cole for a little bit while saying they're out here to talk about MJF. They question that all he brought up for MJF was tofu. Rock Hard, Juice Robinson then calls on MJF as he says that MJF has some explaining to do and says if he's a man, he will go face them like a man. So, let's see here. So as we move on with this, with Bullet Club Gold and everything, MJF then appears. And MJF says they have a lot of accusations as he takes a couple of shots at the three men in the ring. His greatest moments in AEW with his personal favorites being when he almost got AEW kicked off of television when he called Tony Khan a fucking mark, as he knows for a fact that he didn't attack Switchblade Jay White, and he suggests that they have a street fight right now. So MJF heads into the ring, and Bullet Club Gold run out only for Switchblade Jay White to appear behind MJF's back, dropping MJF with the Blade Runner. Switchblade Jay White then holds up MJF's AEW World Heavyweight Championship belt, the Triple B, the Big Burberry belt, making it clear that he wants a future shot at the title, as Switchblade then takes MJF's title with him, as Switchblade Jay White then says he is a cut above the people MJF is used to dealing with, and MJF's cheap games do not work here. As Switchblade says they are not buying what MJF is selling about him not being the attacker last week. Switchblade Jay White says he knows the real MJF, who is a pathetic, dirty liar. Switchblade Jay White challenges MJF to put the AEW World Heavyweight Title Championship on the line at AEW Full Gear, as Switchblade says that MJF can try to prove him wrong, and he will fail. MJF then accepts the match, so we'll get that match at Full Gear, but Switchblade still took MJF's Triple B with him, so we'll see what happens with that as this goes further along, and it should be rather interesting. I will say that much. Alright guys, so what else do we got here as we're cruising along on this show? Thank you guys for hanging with me, by the way. Orange Cassidy and Hook are then shown backstage as Hook is eating a bag of Lay's potato chips. Hook says that Orange Cassidy should be facing Rey Fenix next week for the AEW International Championship, not Jon Moxley. Orange Cassidy says no, but points out how Jon Moxley was International Champion for only a few weeks, unlike him, who was champion for 11 months. But Orange Cassidy insists, whatever, it's fine. He takes one of Hook's chips and eats it. Hook continues eating his chips. Hook offered a chip to Renee Paquette, but she didn't take it. She said she's fine, and that was that. So now we move on to tag team match. Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita go up against Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. Chris Jericho manages to drop Konosuke Takeshita with the shoulder tackle as he and Kenny Omega make frequent tags as they work well together, hitting a double suplex. Takeshita gets back on top by hitting the ace line as Kyle Fletcher tags in and begins unloading with chops on Jericho in the corner as he mocks Kenny Omega's inability to tag in, unloading forearm strikes, but Jericho fights back with some chops of his own. Jericho then knocks Kyle Fletcher down and then hits the lion salt as he tags in the cleaner Kenny Omega, who comes in hot, taking down both of his opponents, nailing an elbow to Fletcher, but he gets attacked from behind by Takeshita. However, that does not last as Kenny Omega turns things around with the backstabber to Fletcher as Takeshita continues to stay involved, which sets up a half-and-half suplex from Fletcher. Omega then reverses a super kick with a Snapdragon, with Jericho then returning to action as he continues attacking Fletcher in the corner as he then hits a Hurricane Rana from the top rope, only to be taken out by Takeshita. Omega attacks him and then Fletcher nails a brainbuster. As all four men are down, Fletcher and Jericho trade chops once again until Jericho locks in the walls of Jericho, but Takeshita breaks it up only for Omega to stop Fletcher from tagging out. They then go back and forth with strikes, but Omega comes out on top with Jericho then officially tagging him in. He and Fletcher then trade forearm strikes with Omega getting the best of it. He looks for a V-trigger, but Takeshita stops him, only to be hit with a Snapdragon, yet when Omega goes to hit the ropes, Fletcher counters it. Despite that, Omega fights back and sends him into Jericho for a codebreaker, and then the one-winged angel for the 1-2-3 and the pin and the win. Your winners are Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. That was a great tag team match, by the way. However, after the match, Powerhouse Will Hobbs appears and nails both Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega with clotheslines as Hobbs continues attacking them both outside the ring, launching Omega over to the barricade into some chairs as they head back to the ring and tape Omega to the top rope. As Hobbs tries to use the chair, Jericho tries to stop him, but he is attacked instead as Hobbs then keeps attacking him with Don Callis, nailing him with a chair shot right to the head. And that was that. Great stuff there. I loved it. MJF is then shown backstage in the trainer's room as he tries to give Adam Cole a call, but then gets sent to the answering machine. Max Caster comes in and tries to give MJF a massage or whatever, and they're kind of playing off the whole back and forth tweeting thing that Max Caster does with MJF. I like how they played that in for a little comedy. That was rather funny. Next up, Toni Storm goes one-on-one with Sky Blue in women's action here. Toni Storm introduces herself to Sky Blue, but then headbutts her and follows it up by throwing her across the ring several times. Sky Blue tries to turn it around, but misses wildly with a splash in the corner, only to catch Toni Storm with a forearm strike. However, Toni Storm responds with one of her own and then nails a running hip attack to send Sky Blue out of the ring. Toni Storm then claims it's time for a titty slap, whatever that is, as she proceeds to chop Sky Blue all around the ringside area, but hits one of her own. But Toni Storm violently responds with even more before kicking Sky Blue back in the ring as she hits a snap suplex. That gets Toni Storm a near fall as she pulls at the hair of Sky Blue before slamming her face first in the mat. Toni Storm aims for a powerbomb, but Sky Blue catches her with a stray leg and then several forearms before a running knee strike and then an enziguri, which has Toni Storm rocked. The splash attempt doesn't work, but Sky Blue does nail a roundhouse kick and then a big crossbody, but Toni Storm kicks out as Sky Blue then goes for a roll-up and immediately hits a super kick after the kick out Tony Storm then clutches onto Sky Blue to stop anyone and nails a German suplex before hitting the hip attack and the Storm Zero for the 1-2-3 and the pin of the win. Your winner is Timeless Tony Storm. Good match there with these two women. Enjoyable match. Stokely Hathaway then appears and says on AEW Rampage a new #1 contender will be crowned for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. They want a champion that smells like Tom Ford and not like Burger King. So, now it is time for the moment we've all been waiting for, the main event of the evening. Let's hear from Adam Copeland. Adam Copeland says it's a big deal being in the ring with Tony Schiavone as he was the voice of his childhood. Adam Copeland then reacts to the fans chanting Adam, and Copeland says he hasn't heard that one before and he likes it, as he recalls when he was told he could never wrestle again. But here we are in 2023 and he's standing in an AEW ring. As he says there are a few reasons why he came here, and he's pretty sure the AEW World Heavyweight Championship will look good around his waist. And there's a roster of first-time matches for him. Copeland lists Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Miro, Powerhouse Hobbs, Switchblade Jay White, and Rockhard Juice Robinson as amazing reasons to be here. And he's here to challenge himself with something brand new. The main reason he came to AEW is because he sat down with his family and asked what he should do. And his daughter told him to go have fun with Uncle Jay, who is Christian Cage, of course, but his real name's Jay Resso. Adam Copeland then calls on Christian Cage to tell him the main reason he is in AEW, and the TNT champion Christian Cage makes his way down to the ring. Adam Copeland says they were best friends before they were in this industry, but it was the industry that made them realize they would be best friends for life. Adam Copeland says he did what he did at AEW Wrestle Dream because he saw Christian Cage. He said, I saw you standing like this looking more like a dick than usual, but I still love you, Copeland says to Christian. However, Copeland says he saw Christian standing over Sting, a guy whose poster that Christian took to the barber to get the same haircut, the flat top and the rat tail. And, Edge says his haircut was Lex Luger when they were kids. And Copeland says, he can't stand by and watch Christian just smash Sting, and that's why he did what he did on Sunday. But he also did it because he knows Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne will drop him like a bad habit after they've sucked the information out of his brain. Adam Copeland says he is here because it is time, for the first time since 2011, and the first time properly, it's time for them to team together again to face a team like FTR, or face a team like the Young Bucks. Adam Copeland is here, hat in hand, and he asks Christian Cage to do it. Let's do it. To end their careers together as a team. Both of them hug it out in the ring, but then Christian Cage gets on the microphone and tells Adam Copeland to quote-unquote go fuck himself. And Christian Cage then leaves the ring. And Christian Cage also reminds Adam Copeland what he will be up against this Tuesday night, as Christian Cage brings out Luchasaurus to end the show, and the show goes off the air. And that was that. So, wow. But, that was crazy with the whole thing when he's like, go fuck yourself. Of course, they bleeped it out. It would have been cool if it was uncensored, but, that was something else. And that's how AEW Dynamite went off the air, and boy, oh boy, was that crazy or what. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. I would love to see Christian Cage and Edge team up again, eventually. But I'd love to see them have a match against each other. What's up, Micah? Like Micah says, Christian versus Edge. And when they reunite, it's going to be huge. Absolutely. I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be, a really fantastic thing that everybody's going to be able to get behind, and it's going to be really fun. I just can't wait for it. I'm super excited. But that was your AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary review and results show. That's how the show went off the air. After the show went off the air, there was a video on AEW's social media platforms where, Adam Copeland and Luchasaurus got in a fight after cameras went off the air. Of course, Adam Copeland came out on top, I believe. I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah, Title Tuesday next week. Dynamite is on a Tuesday, so don't forget that. Tuesday, October 10th. And, there you go. There you go. It was a great, great thing there. So, yeah, as far as what I would rate the show, I'm going to say AEW Dynamite's 4-year anniversary show is a tremendous success. It was something that I really enjoyed, that I really loved. And I hope you guys loved it too. And seeing Adam Copeland, in an AEW ring for the second time overall, but for the first time during AEW Dynamite, it was an amazing, amazing show. And it was just, it was amazing stuff. So I will say that my rating for AEW Dynamite's 4-year anniversary show for today, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023, I'm going to give this show, because it was very, very good, very fun to watch, very entertaining, and I can't wait to see the Tuesday episode of Dynamite next week. I'm going to give this show a straight up 10 out of 10 plus right there. Plus the 2 thumbs up and the big T seal of approval. Good stuff, guys. And yeah, so there you go. And then, so that'll do for me here on the show tonight. I will see you guys next time. And yes, there will be a next time for me right here on Beyond the Ring with Big T. That'll be for your, that'll be for your WWE Friday Night SmackDown review and results show on Friday night, and the WWE Fastlane 2023 preview and prediction show. Might do that on Friday night or on Saturday afternoon. So we'll see what happens there. Because I'm gonna be going out on Saturday. Instead of Friday, because Saturday I'll be going to Mr. Green Bean's house for WWE Fastlane and whatnot, so we'll have some fun with that. So Friday I'll be here to do SmackDown. I don't think I'll be doing Rampage, reviewing Rampage, since I'm going to miss Collision anyway on Saturday because of Fastlane. Fastlane review will be on Sunday since I'm out on Saturday, so Friday will be SmackDown, and then the Fastlane preview and predictions, so join me here for that, and don't forget us, and we won't forget you. And of course, if you want the best, and yes, I do mean the absolute best for all of your professional wrestling needs, right here on the internet, right here on YouTube.com today, always remember to think Beyond the Ring with Big T. And then, of course, everybody, thank you very much for watching and listening to episode number 517 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Elite Wrestling Podcast here for today, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. And then, of course, everybody, as always, AEW Dynamite, thank you also for watching AEW Dynamite 4-year anniversary show for today, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. It was a great show. Thank you, AEW and Tony Khan, for a great show as well. And, of course, everybody, as always remember and never, ever forget that. First off, cheers to all of you. There you go, guys. Always remember and never forget that I'm your host, Big T. I will see all of you at the matches. Happy anniversary to AEW Dynamite. Thank you, Tony Khan, for a great show. I'm your host, Big T. I'll see all of you at the matches. I'll see all of you for your SmackDown coverage and Fastlane coverage this weekend. Take care, everybody. I love you all, and of course, Good night, everybody. Ha 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 ha.
This is M-Dog 20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you are checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T. Thank you, man. Big T.
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring. AEW.